League 6, Demonic Pacts, is the 6th installment of the popular Leagues game mode in Old School Runescape. If you've never played before, Leagues is a limited game mode where everyone plays as an Iron Man. No trading other players, no grand exchange, the whole shebang. And of course, to speed up progression, we all get accelerated experience rates and drop rates. But this game mode follows a few gimmicks to spice things up. First and most well known is the Relic system. Unlockable powers that change your gameplay in all sorts of ways. Increasing attack speed, cooking all the food in your inventory at once, executing low HP targets, defying death, the list goes on. If you've ever played ARAM Mayhem, it's similar to Augments, where you'll be presented with a choice between a few options at progression benchmarks, and those choices are what craft your dream build. The second gimmick, and a now staple of Leagues, is the region locking mechanic. The whole world of RuneScape is segmented into regions, such as Asgarnia, which includes Falador, Remington, and the God Wars dungeon. In this game, you'll have to choose which regions you want access to, because you will not have them all. In past iterations, you'd start out with Karamja and Misthalin. These give you the basic early amenities that we've all grown accustomed to, the nostalgic newbie beginnings of Lumbridge, Varrock, and Edgeville, but this time, Misthalin is gone. The host of this league, Yama, has taken it off the map, thrown a dart at it, and lit it on fire. And instead, we'll be starting in the new landmass of Varlamore. Karamja will be a free unlock given to you not long after you start your journey, but you'll have 3 more regions to unlock that are permanent choices. Having to make committed decisions of which relics you'll take and which regions you'll unlock can leave many with choice paralysis and decision fatigue. This overview will go over what the regions have to offer, without consideration of any potential echo bosses or echo drops. Welcome to the League 6 region breakdown. Now before we start with what is, let's start with what isn't. Misthalin. Veterans of previous Trailblazers have come accustomed to having this starting region as a freebie. And while compared to the other regions, it's a bit lacking in the content department, but we're losing a bit more than you think. The first one I think we should talk about is the real noteworthy bosses. Scarius and Tormented Demons are all off limits, but even though it was considered Misthalin, Abyssal Sire is still accessible. This has always been a relatively reliable boss for completing the boss pet task. Unfortunately, the other starting region easy boss pet is not up for grabs. Soul Wars. Soul Wars is not being given to us this time. Keep in mind, that also means no simple way to farm Pure Essence this go-around, so if you've gotten used to it from the past 2 leagues, might want to start thinking of some alternatives. No Scarius means no boosted combat training, and no Tormented Demons means no Demon Bane weapons. While not a boss, there's no Ancient Wyverns outside of Misthalin, so anybody that wanted that Ancient Wyvern shield, yeah, you're out of luck. As for skilling, we're losing out on Herbivore, Underwater Agility Thieving, Birdhouses, early game Rooftops of Draenor and Varrock, and probably one of the biggest sleeper hits is no more ham members. Anyone that took dodgy deals last season remembers how crazy this place went. Pickpocketing a massive stack of easy clues in just 1 pickpocket, and then clearing 75 easy clues in just a matter of minutes for that huge point swing, getting tons of noted early game herbs, yeah, that's gone. Thankfully, there is something to fill the void in our starting region, but we'll touch on that in a few minutes. The Birdhouses and Herbivore are a pretty sizable hit if you don't take any form of a Hunter Relic, and the Kickstarter from the Varrock Museum to give you that starting EXP, yeah, also gone. The rooftops might not sound like much, especially since we have infinite run anyway, but agility always served as quick, easy tasks and points in the early goings. Right, I think that covers all the important stuff we lost. So let's move on to the regions that we can access. This video is sponsored by Raycon. Now I don't want to jump scare you guys, but Mother's Day is coming up quite soon. This time, instead of surprising my mum with dinner and flowers like I do every year, I'm opting to buy her something that actually fits into her everyday life of CrossFit and working from home. I've been using my pair of Essential Open earbuds pretty much every day since I got them. They're great for exercising, walks on the beach, or even chilling at home playing RuneScape. The open ear design sits just outside your ear instead of sealing it off, so you can listen to your music while still clearly hearing what's happening around you. That means you stay aware of things like traffic, people talking to you, or your surroundings in general, making them a safe option for being out and about. One super exciting feature is the multi-point connection. They can switch between your computer and your phone super easily, and I already know this is going to make my League 6 experience miles better. I no longer have to worry about whether or not Barbarian Gathering has filled my inventory while I take my meal prep out of the fridge. The battery life is also solid. You can listen to music for over 8 hours with 1 charge, and up to 36 with the case. Perfect for all the traveling I have to do this year. And I'm actually a really big fan of the sound quality. It's comparable to a lot of the more expensive brands, but at a way more affordable price point. Plus, they've got over 3 million customers and a 30-day guarantee, so if you don't love them as much as I do, you can always get your money back. Celebrate the moms in your life. Click the link in the description box or go to buyraycon.com/acoldOneOpen to get 15% off the Essential Open earbuds. A big thank you to Raycon for sponsoring this video. Varlamore, as stated, will be our starting region this league. It's a nice bit of fresh air compared to starting in Misthalin for the past 3 Trailblazers, but we need league points to unlock some new regions to expand our progression, so what does it really give us starting out? First off, the Gemstone Crab, one of the best updates to come out last year. A nice AFK combat training spot, accessible right when you enter the game. So if you need some time to think of what to do next, but still want to progress while you plan on the fly, the Crab's got your back. For skills, just in the middle of town is a thieving hub, similar to Ardoin, classic cake stall, and a few tourists just outside so you can get to level 5 very quickly. Not to mention at level 50, you'll unlock wealthy citizens to really get the ball rolling, and these guys can give you easy clues to stack up when pickpocketing, so we already have simple lines of progression early. For skills that require some tools to get going, not to worry. This region has the basics to get you started. With the mining and smithing combo, you've got some copper, tin, and iron rocks just to the southeast of Camtorum, and a furnace located right outside the Colosseum Bank, and of course, a pickaxe shop right in Camtorum itself. The woodcutting, firemaking, and fletching triad is relatively straightforward too. The main city limits have basic regular trees and yew trees, Auburn Valley has oaks and maples, willows and alderon, and everyone's favorite teak trees right by the lily pad quest, which also gives a nice chunk of early woodcutting experience. And don't worry about upgrading your axe. There's a shop in Auburn Valley, but keep in mind, she doesn't have a rune axe in stock. Firemaking and fletching are pretty straightforward, but you will have the option to partake in the Veil Totem's fletching activity. To get fishing off the ground, we've got Castori just at the southeast of the rainforest that has a fishing shop for all your tools, and a pool of shrimp just to the west. And if you want to train a bit further, just at the northwest of the rainforest, there's some fly fishing spots. For farming later on, when we've got some seeds at our disposal, Varlamore offers all the basic patches, with the allotment just to the west of the city, a fruit tree in Calquat and Castori, and a regular tree in Auburn Valley. And of course, the hardwood by the soon-to-be-deceased again, Lord Cuthbert. So don't worry, no soft-locking any farming patches this league. Construction is actually an interesting one. You will be able to train it with just Varlamore, as there is a saw spawn in Tal Teclon and an estate agent in Civitas Illifortis. But the interesting part is what Varlamore contributes to the skill later on. Leagues 2 and 4, Fremennik was the only region to offer a stonemason, a requirement to make the ornate pool and other high-level objects in your player-owned house. But Varlamore has a stonemason just to the southeast of the city. Not to mention, this is also a fantastic hub for any gold generation relic. For Hunter, Crimson Swifts can be found in the rainforest to start the skill, with tropical wagtails able to be caught at 19 Hunter. Box traps and bird snares can be bought from the Fortis General Store. At level 39, you can box trap Embertail Jerboa and unlock your third box trap in just one level, and that won't be too far away from the Hunter's Guild when you hit 46 for Hunter Rumors. From that point, you'll be able to access all Hunter tools. And there's even a red Chinchompa spot at the north end of the rainforest when you hit 63 Hunter, making this the first time that red Chinchompas are available in a starting region in all of Trailblazer. Runecrafting is a funny one. Since Perilous Moons is auto-completed for us, we immediately have access to Sulphurous Essence. Hashing this in will give a base of 50 runecrafting EXP for each one, so this is a way to get the skill off the ground. For agility, Yama has been so gracious, allowing us to train in his modified layer for the League, and at level 50, you'll be able to get much better experience at the Colossal Worm course. And while there's no Slayer Master in Varlamore, Zenaris is being given to us as a starting region, so you can take any available fairy ring to travel to Shadler to get started. Crafting is one I wanted to save until after I touched on agility. While you can slave away at making glass buying sand and ash from the charters, I'd recommend holding off on this one until you have 32 agility and 34 thieving, as with these you'll be able to complete the Death on the Isle quest. This will give you a baseline of 5,000 crafting experience as a reward before any multipliers. And just to the north of this quest completion is a gem shop to really get the ball rolling. Remember, shops and leagues will automatically restock, so no shop and hopping this game. Oh yeah, and for sailing, there is no sailing this league. Now for the stuff everyone cares about. Combat. Varlamore is actually quite loaded in terms of gear. You could honestly call this the first Trailblazer that we get 4 regions instead of 3. Perilous Moons is going to do a lot of the heavy lifting. I don't think I really need to go into great detail about how good these sets are in the early game, and even in parts of your late game. If we have some form of attack speed increase, the set effect of Blood Moon will pump out some serious damage. Just be careful using it at hard mode Zarpus if you pick Morytania. Might want to take off the tacits there. The Blood Moon set you acquire will also be an incredible option for the likes of Moxie and Huey. Moxie doesn't really drop anything too crazy, but Huey, on the other hand, will give a 10% damage boosting staff with the Dragon Hunter wand. Not to mention the melee experience you get here is crazy if you do the pillar mechanic correctly. The Blue Moon staff can autocast standards, ancients, and Arceus spellbooks, and the Eclipse set will not let you down either. And of course, a tier 55 dual hitting weapon can be dropped from the sulfurs within the chambers of Perilous Moons itself to get you started. The Coliseum will give you your best in slot range cape and best prayer gear should we get the Sunlight Spear again. Then we've got our buddy, the Doom. 2 true best in slot items with the Avernic Treads and Confliction Gauntlets, and the Eye, which is a close second to the Shadow. Keep in mind, unusable component items, such as the Macchiato Cloth, will be given in their completed form, so you won't need the Tormented Bracelet to use it. Sorry, Kandarin. And last but certainly not least, is Vardorvis, dropping a plus 12 strength bonus Ultor Ring, full Virtus, and all the pieces for the Soul Reaper axe. Overall, an incredibly strong region, let alone it being your starting region. I think they should cover all the good stuff with your starting region, so let's quickly talk about what's in your free region unlock, Karamja. This one's quite small and doesn't have much to do. It's got access to the Tazar gem shop for your Onyx to make your Fury and Regen bracelet, the Tazar weapon shop for the Obsidian shield, the Fight Caves and Inferno, and a Slayer dungeon for training. And don't worry, Duradel will be able to assign you tasks and leagues even if you aren't 100 combat. For skilling, it's got the gem mine once you've got the medium diary completed, the nature altar, and the Brimhaven agility dungeon if you find Yama's stepping stones to be a bit too slow. And that's about it. Now that we've got our starter regions out the way, let's finally get into the contenders vying for your 3 region picks. I think we'll start with Kandarin. Dear old Kandarin, home of nostalgia. But unfortunately for dear old Kandarin, I'll be the first to say it. It kinda stinks now. It does have some redeeming features, I'll give it that. If you avoid combat in your starting regions and save them for your first real unlock, the Fight Arena quest will give you a handsome chunk of starting experience to get you off the ground for attack. And if you held off on fishing, Sea Slug is there for that. But the main unlocks this region has to offer are the Occult Necklace, All Zenite Jewelry, and Piety. And 3 of those are technically a best in slot. You're not going to find them anywhere else, unless of course there's an Echo item or another prayer book. But there are options if the regions and relics that give you those replacements aren't in your plans. And you can forget the skilling utility that Kandarin has to offer. When it comes to mid-level thieving, this region is unmatched with all the NPCs to pickpocket. We all know about RD Knights, I'm sure, but once you get to 65, you start unlocking some NPCs with higher XP rates, like Watchmen, Paladins, Gnomes, and Heroes. If we have something along the lines of the Trickster and Dodgy Deals relics early on, 99 Thieving becomes an effortless 99 skill that's done in just 2 hours. Just another thing to make this a second monitor game mode if you really want to. All the points you gather from your first 99, and if you really want to go that far, your first 25, 35, and 50 million EXP skill will prove to be a massive snowball and progress you that much faster. Not to mention all the cash you'll get along the way. The other basic skill perks include, but are not limited to, 3 fruit tree patches, 1 regular tree patch, 2 allotment patches for farming, the ZMI altar, barbarian fishing, Seers and RD agility courses, and another spot for red Chinchampas, because it's quite likely that the spot in Varlamore might be a little bottlenecked. Another change made this league is the automatic completion of Dragon Slayer 2 when unlocking Kandarin, which means the Mist Guild becomes accessible without Fremennik. While it doesn't seem like much, there is a fountain in the dungeon underneath where you can charge your Dragonstone jewelry, which if you wanted to do some gemstone mining in Karamja, you'll want to charge glory for that. While this region's late game attractions really just include the likes of Kraken, Thermi, and demonic gorillas, Kandarin isn't meant to be a late game powerhouse. It's meant to be a supporting region, one that can help amplify the strengths of your other picks. There's all sorts of different combinations and builds possible this leagues, and for some, Kandarin can be that missing piece of the puzzle. While we're still in the area of 2004scape, let's talk about Asgarnia next. This includes Falador, Port Sarim, Rimington, Berthorpe, Camdozal, and Trollheim. And for bossing content, we've got Cerberus, the Giant Mole, the Whisperer, the entirety of the God Wars dungeon, and a new addition introducing the Royal Titans, which drop the Deadeye and Mystic Vigor scrolls as an alternative prayer upgrade if Zaya isn't in your agenda. And needless to say, if you're looking for best in slot strength bonus, look no further. Next we'll have you covered with full Torva, and even Serb can pitch in with his boot drops to max out your Avernic treads from the Doom. And of course, who could forget about the Warriors Guild for your iconic Dragon Defender, Pest Control for your full Void sets, and access to the Dwarf multi-cannon. And while the Bellator ring from Whisperer does get outclassed by the Ultra ring, keep in mind, the Whisperer is another Desert Treasure 2 boss that can give you your axe pieces and full Virtus. For skilling content, we've got the Motherlode Mine, Rogue's Den if you really want to set your thieving loot to overkill, 1 allotment patch, and 2 tree patches. So not as much skilling utility as Kandarin, but definitely more to do in the ways of engaging combat activities. We've got a decent expansion to farming, and a low effort mining training method, and bosses to grind at all stages of your journey, each with meaningful drops to give you a nice sense of progression. I feel as though this region serves the same purpose as Kandarin, but in different ways. A good supporting region, but filling different niches. If we get a special attack relic and you're a ranger, the Zarite crossbow will become your best friend. Didn't pick Zaya for the Dragon Warhammer or Elder Maul? General Grador has a Bandos Godsword to pick up the slack. That should cover everything important in Asgarnia, so let's look over the last 2004-scape-based region next. Welcome to the Wilderness. Now before you skip ahead to the next region because you dislike PKing and losing your items, don't worry. PvP deaths will not cause you to lose anything in this game mode. So what does the Wilderness have to offer anyway? For starters, and probably the most enticing part, is fast progression. Historically, the Wilderness has been one of the fastest regions to get League points. So if you're interested in fast play, or maybe just getting your Dragon Trophy ASAP, this is definitely somewhere you should look into. For skilling activities, we've got Dark Crabs in the resource area, the Wilderness Agility course, Black Chinchampas, and the Chaos Altar. And for combat, we've got quite a few bosses alongside the best in slot magic cape with Mage Arena 2. you've got the Corporeal Beast, the Wilderness Shield Triad, the Voidwaker Triad, and their singles plus versions, the Chaos Elemental, and good old King Black Dragon. The last 5 of those can also drop the Dragon Pickaxe for all your mining needs, and this is one of the only 2 regions that you'll be able to obtain it. And to complement your combat, we've got the Wilderness weapons found in the Revenant Caves. And with those boosted drop rates that we get in Leagues, I reckon it won't take too long to get your hands on those. These weapons, if you've never used them before, give you the best damage possible in their respective styles, but only against monsters in the wilderness. Couple that with the best prayer training method in the game at the Chaos Altar, and the best hunter training method at Black Chinchompas, and you can expect some incredibly fast progress. So how about we look at a big region next? Welcome to Kourend, home to one of the 3 raids, the Chambers of Xeric, and all the powerful rewards along with it. Alongside the Chambers, other noteworthy combat activities include the multi-combat Catacombs of Kourend and Skotizo, the Alchemical Hydra, Lizaman Shamans, and Yama himself. This is also the first region we're bringing up that offers you a new spellbook, the Arceus spellbook. While our DPS is going to be so high that thralls will not make much of a difference, the spellbook does offer death charge. And who knows, Deadman had the Sigil of the Augmented Thrall, Leagues 3 had the Thrall damage fragment, we could get something to give our undead friends a boost. And don't overlook the Degrime spell, no one likes manually cleaning all their herbs. For skilling, we've got both the Woodcutting and Farming Guild, Tithe Farm, Blast Mine, Dense Essence Runecrafting, the Wintertod, and Stealing Artifacts. This region offers you many best-in-slot items, such as the 3 Mega Rares from Chambers, Full Ancestral, Dragon Claws, and both Prayer Scrolls. These will be time-consuming to grind out, but Kourend's identity is an endgame region compared to the rest. Many of the activities here, such as Yama and Alchemical Hydra with its 95 Slayer requirement, will likely be near the end of your journey, but we've got the Kourend Catacombs to help you with that. And for Hydra, remember, unique drops that would require other regions will drop in their completed form, so enjoy the Lance and the best-in-slot Ferocious Gloves. Many of the skilling activities, on the other hand, are useful quite early, and even extend their usefulness later on. The Farming Guild, accessible at 45 farming, becomes your hub for the entire skill, and solves all problems of acquiring seeds to train. Not to mention, there's another allotment patch just over in Hosidius. Wintertide can be done after just about 100,000 firemaking experience, and is comparable EXP to traditional firemaking with magic logs. Blast Mine is a great alternative if you're not a fan of 3-tick methods, such as Granite or Gem Mine, and if you don't pick up a relic to assist thieving, dealing valuables is exceptionally good experience per hour, and gives you the option to multi-skill while doing so. And last, let's talk about a key change made to the Chambers of Xeric this league. Just like last league, the Mega Rare Voucher will be making a return, a unique item to Leagues, which can be traded in with the Sage to pick any of the 3 big Mega Rare weapons, the Twisted Bow, the Scythe, and the Shadow. But here we'll only replace the Twisted Bow, so you'll have to actually hit the Elder Maul and Kodai wand drops to obtain those 2. Now compared to the other raid options, Chambers was the slowest by far to obtain a Mega Rare Scroll, due to not being able to secure a 100% purple chance, and the massive pool of items available, the most egregious being the Prayer Scrolls, weighted at 20 compared to the Twisted Bows 2. But this league, the J-mods have heard our prayers, and have made a change to the challenge mode version. Both Prayer Scrolls have had their weight reduced from 20 down to 5, making all other items much more common. In short, the Mega Rare Scroll and other Mega Rares from Chambers will be a 1 in 30 each from any challenge mode completion. Granted that you've hit the point cap for the 65% chance of a purple, which in this case would be just 39,000 points. Kourend is definitely a region that will keep you busy for most of your journey, and is one you should consider taking, as it's quite strong. Not to mention, it's got the only raid that you can do in masses of up to 100 people, plenty of potential for fun clan events or large-scale community events. Now let's talk about a region that's grown on me personally after Leagues 5, the Fremennik Province, another region that grants you another spellbook option with Lunars. Again, our DPS will be very high, so the Vengeance spell is a bit overshadowed, but if you're looking to sweat a bit, the multi-skilling potential of Tan Leather is there. You just need to get the Fremennik Card Diary done first. For bossing content, we've got the Duke, Muspa, the Dagannoth Kings, and Vorkath. That last one will pair quite nicely with the Tan Leather spell later, not to mention its overloaded drop table. As for other bosses, they've all got something good to offer. Duke will give you the best in slot Magus Ring, and just like Whisperer, offer another boss to complete your Soul Reaper Axe and full Vertiset if you didn't do so from Vardorvis. The Dagannoth Kings will give you the Dragon Axe for all your woodcutting needs, and even Muspa provides something quite strong, the Venator Bow. While there's a chance we get the Thunder Sword back, if your region choices aren't the ones that house it, this thing is a machine at taking multiple mobs down, so Rangers, rejoice. As for skilling, there's the Relica Rooftops, a herb patch at Vice, Manage Thy Kingdom, and the big one, the Blast Furnace. This is the big reason I've gotten a soft spot for this region. Smithing has always been one of the biggest hassles in Leagues for me, as I've never taken a relic the likes of Production Prodigy on my main playthroughs. This play solves all of that, and even gives you the Ice Gauntlets just for unlocking the region. The Goldsmith Gauntlets, however, is a different story. While this region does automatically complete Family Crest alongside the rest of the Dragon Slayer 2 line, converting the Steel Gauntlets will require you to unlock the regions that hold the NPC to do so. You can't actually claim the Steel Gauntlets because the NPC who has them is locked away in Burning Misthalin. Thankfully, you can still get the Goldsmith Gauntlet effect from a max cape, but that requires you to max. As for early game, and even the starting parts of mid game, this region is a bit lacking compared to the likes of Kandarin, so bear that in mind when deciding. One of the big benefits of the last league when unlocking this early on is gone. There's no Misthalin to claim all your kudos and free experience from the Varrock Museum because of all of those quest unlocks. I feel as though that should cover all of what you need to know about the Fremennik region, so let's talk about another oddball region next. Welcome to Tirannwn. Much like Fremennik, not really an early game friendly place, but it's got a few things to do. For combat, it's got the Gauntlet and Zulrah, and that's about it, really. Then for skilling, we've got Zulcano, the Prif Rooftops, a fruit tree patch in Letya, and another red Chinchampa spot to the north of Prifddinas. I feel bad not really being able to gas this region up, but it's just the sad truth of it. I will say, the blowpipe is very strong, and with combat relics, having a one-tick blowpipe is a lot of fun. And if raids aren't going to be your thing, the Bofa and Blade of Saeldor will not let you down. There's also the Crystal Crown cosmetic, and I do want to talk about this for a second. Much like the Wilderness, Tirannwn has historically been a rather quick region to obtain points, once you've gotten the means to do so. While it doesn't seem useful on the surface, this has always been a master task in previous leagues, which gives a lot of points. And if we have something similar to Fire Sail or Golden God, you can complete this really early on and slingshot your progression towards those later relics. And last but certainly not least, since a certain thieving relic has been teased, I should mention a rather interesting offering this region has. With the Larcenous relic, you can pickpocket elves at 85 thieving, and never fail, with 10 times the loot, and that includes these enhanced teleport crystals, which can be traded in for crystal shards. These accumulate very quickly, and additionally with a maximum experience multiplier, 50 mil thieving can be obtained in just over 3 hours, entirely AFK I might add. You can use these shards that you acquire in addition with crystal armor seeds from the gauntlet to obtain 50 mil smithing and crafting in just under an hour, which is a massive swing in points. As good as that sounds, that's about all the region has to offer. Not much in the way of content, but very good for a quick bump in points given the right setup. So let's talk about a region that has a bit more to offer. Welcome to the desert, home of the ancient spellbook. It's a region that has it all, from early game activities all the way to late. Definitely a solid pick, unless you don't like Tombs of Amascut, of course. For skilling and other early game friendly activities, we've got the Mage Training Arena, Tempoross, Giant's Foundry, Guardians of the Rift, the Agility Pyramid, a rooftop course in Polnum Deach and Kharid, Scork Juice, and the Pyramid Plunder. And in the ways of combat, the Smoke Dungeon with a multi-combat area for Dust Devils to train Slayer with your newly acquired Ancient Magics, Cowfight Queen, Leviathan, and the Tombs of Amascut. While no one likes the Magic Training Arena, it's quite good for magic experience early on, and just a short visit there will get you the level to start casting some multi-target spells with your ancient spellbook. And with the minigame point multiplier, getting rewards will take no time at all. Tempoross has a low barrier to entry, and if there's a certain Infernal Harpoon making its return, this minigame is very quick to get completions on. Giant's Foundry serves as a great way to train smithing if Fremennik isn't one of your picks, and Guardians of the Rift would be considerable if it wasn't for the potential existence of Last Recall and Banker's Note. So if neither of those are around, keep it in mind. The bosses speak for themselves. Cowfight Queen gives you a way to obtain the Dragon Pickaxe, Leviathan gives you the best in slot range ring, and another outlet for your Desert Treasure 2 items, and Tombs of Amascut drops 7 best in slot items. Full Masori for your range damage, the Lightbearer, the Fang, the Ward, and of course, the Shadow. Something to bring a ton of power for all 3 combat styles. And last league, the chance of a Shadow was 1 in 24 from a purple chest roll, but since then, the Tombs has seen a few changes. One of them being the loot mechanic. Raising the invocation level past 300 will modify the odds of all of the unique drops, lowering the chance of a Lightbearer and Fang drop, making the chase items a bit more common. At a raid level of 500 being the cap, the Shadow's rate drops from a 1 in 24 to 1 in 16.5 from a purple roll. Depending on your completion times, this could be the fastest way to farm your mega rare weapon, so keep it in mind. The desert region will never be a bad pick for any style of play, but there is one region left, and it's got quite a bit going for itself. Morytania, home to the last raid on the list, the Theater of Blood, as endgame can get. And that's the name of this region. Endgame. This is not a region to be picked as your first. For skilling, you've got the Canifis Rooftop, and that's all the early game content you'll get, really. All of the skilling activities are intended for later play, such as the Hallowed Sepulchre, Day Alt Mine, and the True Blood Altar, which if paired with a potentially returning Banker's Note, will be the best runecrafting experience you can get. There's also 2 places to farm herbs, at the Phasmatis Farm allotment patch and Harmony Isle, but that last one won't be accessible until you've completed the diary. The earliest combat unlocks you'll come to find will be cave horrors. The only way to obtain a black mask and get that sweet 15% damage and accuracy boost to creatures on task. And of course, a classic favorite, Barrows. Every league there's always people looking to break the Darok set, and I'm sure this league will be no different. But late game combat is where Morytania really shines. There's the Grotesque Guardians for whatever they're worth, a Raxor for the Amulet of Rancor and Noxious Halberd once you've gotten to 92 Slayer, the Nightmare, and of course, the Theater of Blood. One thing to note is that in previous leagues, the hard mode variant of the Theater would set your unique drop chance to 100%. And in Leagues 5, everyone would get a purple chest upon completion. Granted, there weren't too many deaths. As with the other 2 raids, your Scythe drop will be replaced with a Mega Rare voucher, and it would be a 1 in 19 chance to receive one. Not too much rarer than a voucher from the tombs, but depending on your time to complete a raid, it would be about the same time on average to obtain one. And that's all for this year's region breakdown. Hopefully this video has given you some insight as to what you'll pick this year, but do remember, this game mode is meant to be fun. It'll only be around for 2 months, so enjoy it while it lasts. If you've made it this far, a like on the video and a subscription to the channel would be very much appreciated. I'll be trying my best to go for rank 1 points this year, and no, not the day 1 rank 1, the real rank 1. I hope to see you all enjoying your new journey on April 15th when the game mode drops. This has been a cold one, and I'll see you next time.